In this video, we will show you how to replace your vehicle's alternator on this Honda Civic with a 1.8 liter engine. This will be located along the passenger side of your engine. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we need to do is disconnect our negative battery terminal from the battery. This is over on the driver's side of the engine compartment. Along the top of the negative battery terminal, you're going to find a 10mm headed mounting nut. We can loosen this just enough that we can remove that terminal end from the battery itself. Once you have it removed, just a quick inspection for corrosion. If you see any, it needs to be dealt with. This one looks fine, so we're going to set it aside so it's making no contact with the battery terminal. Let's start removing our serpentine belt. To remove this, we're going to have to release tension using this area right down underneath our engine mount using a 19mm. This is part of the serpentine belt tensioner. Before you remove the serpentine belt, just take a quick note of the belt routing. Now for this, I'm using a 19mm and a long ratchet. You can use a serpentine belt tool if you have the adapter. We're turning this counterclockwise, essentially towards the rear. As you can tell, that releases pressure from the belt. We can continue on sliding the belt out of position from our alternator. Let's go ahead and remove our tool. Now that I have that dislodged, I always like to take a quick peek at that belt itself. Wow, this belt is in very poor condition. If yours is cracked like this, it only makes sense to go ahead and replace it at the same time, so I'm going to fully remove this. Just going to fully remove that belt. Now we can start removing our alternator from this area. Let's start up along the top of the alternator with the wiring. This one right here across the front upper portion of the alternator, you're going to find an electrical connector with a small squeezable tab. You want to go ahead and press that in and pull this out of place. A quick inspection of both ends for corrosion, of course. This looks fine. Let's set that wiring harness aside. Continuing on towards the center wire, this one has a rubber protective boot. Go ahead and set that aside. Underneath that, you're going to find a 10mm headed mounting nut. Remove the nut, remove the wire from the alternator. There we are. Just like before, close inspection for corrosion or damage. This looks fine as well. Now it's time for our last wiring harness. This one has the red connector. Should have a locking tab along this inboard side here. You just want to go ahead and squeeze that in. Lift that up and out of place. Quick inspection for corrosion. That looks good. We'll set it aside with the rest of the wires. Now we're looking along the back side of the alternator. You can see where the exhaust manifold is. There's a small heat shield in this area. We want to go ahead and separate the wiring harness from the alternator. So right up along the top of the alternator where the electrical connector is, you're going to find that there's a metal bracket attached to the alternator. Remove the 10mm bolt. Now follow that wiring harness. Here's that metal bracket making its way down along the backside of the alternator. This is held in place with two more 10mm bolts. Remove the pair and remove that bracket. Here's one of our 10mm mounting bolts. The next one's all the way down at the bottom there. I'm going to start with the lower one. It's a little bit more difficult to gain access to. I'm using a ratcheting 10mm wrench. And we can get that last one up here. I'm holding onto the bracket so it does not fall down. Now at this point, we're going to remove that from the backside of the alternator. You really can't fully remove it, but at least give it a close inspection. Make sure it's not rotted, weak, or damaged. This one looks fine, so I'm going to set it aside. Now we can remove our next wiring harness bracket from the other side of the alternator. This one has one 10mm headed mounting bolt. Now it's time for the two mounting bolts to remove the alternator. I'm just flexing the AC hose out of the way so we can see the upper mounting bolt here. The lower one's a little bit more difficult to gain access to. If you were looking at the water pump pulley just down in this area, I can feel that mounting bolt. For each one of these two bolts, we'll be using a 12mm. I'm going to start with the lower bolt first since it's the hardest to gain access to. Now it's time for the upper mounting bolts. Keep in mind, this is the last thing holding this alternator in place. The upper mounting bolt is considerably longer than the lower mounting bolt. Give them both a close inspection, clean them up if necessary, set them aside. Take hold of the alternator, lift it up and out of the engine compartment. For this, you're going to find that it typically has to be pivoted a little bit and slid up and out. There we are. There it is, friend. Okay, let's prepare to install our brand new alternator. Start bringing this down into position. We're going to start our larger mounting bolt through first. This is the upper mounting bolt. Slide it straight on through one ear of the alternator, through the mounting bracket on the engine, all the way through to the second ear on the alternator. We're going to start this in, but leave it loose so we can pivot the alternator as necessary so we can gain access to that lower mounting bolt. Now it's time for the lower mounting bolt. This is the one that's shorter than the larger one there. Try to get this in position down here. Typically, once you slide it through the port on the alternator, you can maneuver the alternator up or down as necessary. Once you feel it start to click into position, continue on by snugging it up. Once they're both started in, snug them up, torque those to 17 foot-pounds. Get our wiring harness bracket in place. We'll start with the outboard one here. Start in our 10mm headed mounting bolt and snug it up. Now we've got our shield slash bracket. It's going on the back side of the alternator. Two 10mm headed mounting bolts for this. I'm going to start them right through that shield. In position here. Okay, that one started on. We're leaving it loose. Let's start on the other mounting bolt and then we can snug them both. Okay, bottomed out. Just a tiny bit further there. Let's get that next one. Make sure that's tight. Now we have our next small bracket with the wiring harness still attached. This is going to go up against this area and we'll start the mounting bolt through from the inboard side. Right up in here. Start it in, snug it up. Okay, bottomed out. Make sure it's tight. Continuing on, it's time for our electrical connectors. We'll start with the red electrical connector. Just go ahead and take this. We'll press it down on there as far as possible. Sometimes you hear an audible click, other times you don't. Give it a light tug, confirming it's properly secured in place. Let's continue on to our next wiring harness. This is the one that you need to make sure is clean along both sides. We want to have good contact here. You can use some fine sandpaper to clean it down. We'll just get this in position along the center top post there. We've got our 10mm mounting nut. Okay, right there is bottomed out. We're just going to take this a tiny bit further. We do not want to break this stud off the top of the alternator. Go ahead and protect that area with its rubber cover. Press that on there as far as possible. We want to make sure there's no way anything can make contact with that mounting nut or stud under this area. This is extremely important. One last connector here. We'll get the black one pressed into position. Line it up, press it in. Audible click on that one. A light tug, feels good. All right, now it's time to install our Serpentine belt. Now, when installing the belt, it's going to go over some pulleys and under others. We want to make sure we have it in the same exact routing as when we had removed it. Just go ahead and pay attention to the diagram and route it properly. I'm going to start down at the bottom at that AC compressor. As you make your way around the AC compressor, the rearward portion of the belt is going to come back up and it's going to make its way around that water pump. As it makes its way around the water pump, let's make our way all the way down to the crankshaft pulley. This one can be a little bit difficult to reach. You can generally reach down from the top here. Otherwise, you may have to remove your passenger side front wheel to make your way in there. Typically, you can gain access to this right through the top. After you make your way around that crankshaft pulley, make your way up and around the tensioner pulley next, and then we're going to lead all the way towards the rear for our idler pulley. The top of the belt will make its way from that idler pulley all the way back over here to the front around that alternator. Now, continuing on, you want to make sure you're properly seated on each one of the pulleys, especially the ones that are ribbed. After you've done that, we want to go ahead and remove tension from our belt, so we're going to be pivoting the tensioner counterclockwise towards the rear of the vehicle here. While holding pressure, we can get our belt in place. Just be extremely careful for any pinch points. Okay, slide that onto the alternator. Now, once you feel as though you have it on there, the next thing that you have to do is just do a double check, confirming that you're sitting on each one of the pulleys properly, especially the ribbed pulleys. If you're off by even one tooth on the belt and it's hanging off in one direction or the other, you can potentially cause serious damage to the belt or other components. This is extremely important. Just go ahead and double check. Now let's make our way all the way over to the other side of the engine compartment to reconnect our negative battery terminal. We'll press that down onto the battery as far as possible. Tighten your 10mm mounting nut just enough that this is tight. Okay, it's bottomed out there. We're just going to take it a tiny bit further. Give it a quick wiggle, double checking to make sure it's properly secured in place. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. The next thing you need to do is hop in the passenger compartment. Start up the vehicle, let it run for approximately 5 seconds, turn it right back off. Make your way right back out here and triple check the belt, confirming that it's properly seated all the way around each and every one of the pulleys. After that, you can go ahead and close the hood and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.